Welcome back. We have with us Dr. Rajneesh Kapoor, Vice Chairman, Interventional Cardiology, Medanta Hospital, joining us. We have Dr. Rajesh Badani, Senior Consultant, Interventional Cardiologist, joining us from the Aditya Birla Hospital in Pune. And we also have Maninderjeet Bhattal, who is joining us from Mohali. He is the Head of Critical Care and ICU. Well, thank you all very much for being with us. I want to begin by asking you, Dr. Kapoor, the COVID cases in the country for, rising more than 2 lakh per day for 2 consecutive days. This is expected to cross 2 lakhs even in the last 24 hours. We're awaiting the official data from the Health Ministry. There is now increasing talk of the fact that there needs to be at least 5% cases that have to undergo genome sequencing in order to better be able to understand what is the prevalent strain. How does this genome sequencing data help in COVID-19 treatment? Is it important to devise treatment strategy in the strain that is prevalent?
Yeah, absolutely, Shrika. This is very important because we know one thing that COVID is accelerating at a very fast speed. The cases have gone up very fast. But we haven't really scrutinized it further that we know that there are mutant strains. So if there are mutant strains, are the vaccinated people immune to this? Are they not immune to this? Because there are now again prevalent news that even people are getting infected with COVID. So if that is happening, we have to be sure of the fact that these mutant strains are protected or not protected by the vaccine. So that only we can know if have that clarified genomic sequence of the mutant virus in front of us. So it is very, very imperative to have this, so that only after the next step is that we can, tend to go further and dig it up further, that do we require a separate vaccine for this? Do we require some modification in this vaccine? This is extremely important.
Dr. Bhattal, would you agree? Because what we are seeing in Punjab, for instance, is predominantly the UK variant. Is it behaving differently? Are COVID cases manifesting differently from what they did in the first wave?
It is not working. Voice is not clear.
Dr. Bhattal, can you hear me?
Yeah, no.
Right. I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you, in the state of Punjab, data suggests that predominantly the cases that are being found are of the UK variant. How important is it to have this data in order to better clinically manage these patients? And how is the UK variant manifesting itself in COVID patients? And how is it different from what we saw in the first wave?
See, this is absolutely right that we are now facing a new strain, which is mainly the UK strain. This is also called V11. And the importance of getting this strain to know is that this strain is more transmissible and it is more fatal also.
Right.
Secondly, now the no age group is spared from this. Initially, it was more common in people more than 60 years. Now all the age groups are more vulnerable, and oxygen requirement is also high in this case. Transmission is the main thing. That is the main reason that the number of people the patients are increasing day by day.
Right. Dr. Badani, if I can bring you into the conversation, you're joining us from Pune, which is a district which is seeing perhaps one of the highest caseloads in the country, close to 10,000 cases in the last 24 hours. I want to understand from you the fact that there was this double mutation or UK variant, that was being talked about by senior doctors of the Maharashtra COVID task force, for the last 2 months. It's something that the government is only acknowledging now. Had there been better preparation or an acknowledgement of the fact that there is a more dangerous mutant strain, would it have helped you prepare better?
Yeah, definitely. I believe the issue was that by the time it was October or November, probably the first wave was almost fading off and people really became very relaxed. And in between, it was a period of almost 3 months till February that people realized that almost, COVID is down and out. First week of March in our own institute, we had 8 COVID patients, and it is now almost a month that we are now almost 350 patients in the hospital.
Right.
So definitely preparation time is not much. The question is that even if it's a double mutant vaccine, the question is the variety of presentations are absolutely different. People are coming with mild backaches, they are coming with mild headache. Initially, there used to be GI symptoms. Now, anybody and everybody with any mild symptoms turns out to be COVID or RT-PCR positive.
Right.
And the question is that now the younger guys, I think the data tells us very clearly that our institute now we have almost 60 ICU beds, which were initially the capacity was just around 30. So in the last 2 weeks, we have doubled the capacity of ICU beds. Younger population, no comorbidities, and probably deaths occurring. So probably the prognosis is also not that good.
Right.
Presentation is coming, and obviously no time for us. Now we are in a state of crisis primarily.
Dr. Kapoor, is that something that you're seeing, in Delhi NCR as well? That the clinical manifestation in terms of the symptoms people are coming up with are different. Also, what is being reported is that a lot of people who actually have these mild symptoms are RT-PCR negative to begin with, and upon later investigation, they are turning out to be RT-PCR positive, or when doctors are ordering lung scans, they are figuring out that they are infected with COVID. Why is this happening?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is very true that the second wave, the mutant strains, they're particularly, they can be RT-PCR negative because of some mutations happening on the virus surface, but still they are infecting, and infection could be the same. So if there are very typical symptoms of fever, there are very typical symptoms of upper respiratory discomfort, and then CT scans are positive, I think it has to be treated on the lines of COVID, even if they are RT-PCR negative initially. And yes, I agree with the fact that there are many patients who are initially RT-PCR negative who are having this illness, but in the due course they become RT-PCR positive. So that is because of some mutations happening on the virus surface.
Right.
So this is even more alarming. So that tells us that data-wise we are not capturing these patients as COVID positive patients, but they are actually out in the society, vulnerable to infect all others.
Right.
So this is a high alarming thing.
Dr. Badani, last word to you. What is then the strategy going forward? If you come into contact with a COVID positive patient, you should wait for a while before you get a COVID test. Wait for at least 5 days before you get yourself tested. Otherwise, the chances are that it doesn't the RT-PCR. But what if you have symptoms? Should you still wait for a few days before getting tested, or if you have symptoms, should you get tested immediately?
So now, as compared to the first wave, the infectivity of the virus is so fast that probably even if you have symptoms right now, the earlier you test them, RT-PCR, and I believe in a little elderly with comorbidity, even CT scan, because many a times RT-PCR gives you a false sense of security that I am RT-PCR negative, and 4 days down the line, the person starts getting saturations below 90, and then you run around for a hospital bed, which possibly is not there. So what our strategy is that are symptomatic. Saturations are good, only RT-PCR should be sufficient. If you believe they are symptomatic and along with comorbidities, we should get an HRCT done also. And now we, even as cardiologists, have been seeing just recently a 31-year-old coming to us with an acute heart attack. Because of a life-saving measure, we had to do an angioplasty, but then we did an HRCT and probably had a COVID score, which was almost like, in the moderate category. So obviously he salvaged from the MI, but yes, we need to take precautions as hospital staff to be taking care of our staff.
Absolutely.
As well as diagnose this patient, because if he goes home after just an angioplasty, probably he will not survive because he's got COVID pneumonia too. Right?
Well,
that's how it
thank you so much, doctors, for sparing your valuable time, being with us, talking to our viewers about some of these very, very important issues. I think it's extremely interesting to understand the fact that we are not just in the midst of a very rapidly spreading second wave of COVID, but we're also seeing some stark differences from what we saw around the first time. So not necessarily the same rules apply. It's important to keep yourself updated and, of course, wear your mask and stay safe. Thank you so much once again.